Uh,
Okay, any questions on the reading?
Yes.
Okay, 3 lines down in verse 14,
Hmm?
the word vayev, that's
Oh, yeah.
how
So,
do you,
okay. So,
We have the
yes.
same
So
question.
first of all, remember, notice that the final chaf here is actually a final kaf.
that's,
yeah,
And
it is.
while in general, Hebrew does not blend consonants,
Yeah.
sometimes you pretty much have to the way it's written. So it's vayevk.
also
Yeah.
vayev,
Vayev.
okay,
Ah,
Technically, it's vayevk.
oh,
vayev,
I didn't get that.
But when you put them all together, you get vayevk.
vayev, okay.
Hmm.
And
Rabbi
then,
Sim, can I ask
Yes.
a question about that word? What is the significance of the dot in the yud looking thing?
All right, and that, yeah, the yud, the dot, remember, is there as part of just the grammatical system that the Masoretes created as far as doubling letters in just, but again, it has no bearing on pronunciation. The only dots that make pronunciation that you have to concern with are the bet vet, the kaf chaf, and the pei fei. The other letters that double don't change the pronunciation, that dot don't change the pronunciation.
okay, and then there's another question that Fran and I had was, sometimes you say Eretz spelled with, the Eretz and then Haaretz.
All right, again, remember the segel at the words when they were oratorically punctuated to let you know you were at the end of the phrase became ae. So geffen, vine, becomes at the end of the blessing, gafen.
Mhm.
And eretz at the end of the blessing, ma'amotzi lechem min haaretz. So eretz and aretz simply tell you where they are in the phrase.
Okay,
And sometimes even lecha, to you, which is masculine, at the end of a phrase becomes lach, because that,
Mm.
as opposed to lach, feminine.
okay. Thank you.
All right, so Joseph now is continuing his oral instructions. He's giving them the recording that they have to take back and play directly to their father, word for word. So v'higadatem la'avi, and you all will tell. So we know higadatem from the Haggadah, the telling. This is the root of telling, and it's the causative. So you all, the tem, you all, and again now, Joseph, while Judah is the one who had approached him and had started this all off and pleaded on the behalf of his half-brother Benjamin, Joseph now, having revealed himself to his brothers, is telling to them all in mass as a group. So if he got a tem, you all will tell la'avi, to my father. And so verse 13 becomes, he got a tem la'avi et kol kavodi b'mitzrayim, ve'et kol asher re'item, umihartem v'horadetem et avi hena. So
Rabbi Sam,
v'higadatem la'avi, you will tell to my father.
Rabbi Sam, is that first word, is that a reversing vav to make
Yes.
it feature? Okay.
So higadatem by itself would be you told.
Uh-huh.
Vihigadatem is that, and therefore it's that whole perfect, imperfect, past, future blending. So when you go up, you will tell him. It will be that you will have said to him, you have told him. Vihigadatem lavi, you will tell to my father, at kol kavodi, all my kavod, all my honor. all my weightiness, all my heaviness. You will tell all of my honor, the Mitzrayim, all the ways in which you have seen the way Egypt honors me, the honor, my a special role in Egypt, that call asher re'item, and all that you have seen. So re'item is, again, you saw. This is past tense without the vav. So now you will tell him all my honor and all that you have seen. And mihartem, again, this is hasten.
All right.
Yeah, don't hang around lingering, listening to me talk. Get going.
So,
But don't go yet. I have more to tell you.
so it's Machar would be the root that to
Yes, my hair.
my hair.
Hair is quick.
Mhm.
Umihartem, and you will hasten. V'horadetem et avi hena. Horadetem, the root is the yarad, the going down.
Oh,
The horadetem is the causative passive. So you will cause him to come down. So bring him down. And who's the him? Avi, my father. You will bring my father down, cause my father to come down. Again, notice again, going down, going to Egypt is going down. Hena is the toward here, or hereward, like hine. So bring him back here. Get dad and bring him back. And then he said, hurry up, but he says, but meanwhile, vayipol al tzavare, and notice that the aleph there is totally silent. There's no vowel connected to it. It's just part of the root for neck.
Where are you, please?
Verse 14,
Okay.
savare, savre, literally.
Sav.
Savre, savare, which is the neck. Savarav is his neck. So 14, vayipol al tzavre Binyamin achiv vayevk, uVinyamin bacha al tzavarav. So vayipol al tzavre Binyamin achiv, he fell on the neck of Benjamin, his brother. Vayevk, and he wept. uVinyamin bacha al tzavarav, and Benjamin wept on his neck. So the brothers give big hugs, and they are crying on each other's necks.
Rabbi Sam, when we were studying Jacob, didn't he fall on the neck of Esau?
Exactly. There's a parallel here.
I wonder if he was a vampire, like,
Well,
you know.
again, we're going to see that in verse 15. Verse 15, they're on each other's necks. Vayinashek lechol echav vayevk alehem va'acharei chen dibru echav ito. So the first word of verse 15, vayinashek, is kissing. But the root is also verbally, orally biting. And so with Jacob and Esau, we had the root of kissing and the vocalization of biting.
Oh.
And that was where the midrash of the vampire came in. Now, if in fact we are tainted by the vampire trait, but we keep it in check because we don't eat the blood of an animal, as the midrash went on to tell, then from modern movies, we know that when vampires kiss, they bite each other. So if you want to continue playing, Joseph now falls on the neck with his kin, his full brother. He weeps, but his half-brothers he kisses bites. If you like that midrash and want to extend it further. But the simple text is he kissed. He wept on Benjamin's neck, but he kisses all the rest of his brothers. And there's no neck in verse 15.
Oh,
Vayinashek l'chol echav, and he gives kisses to all of his brothers. And his echav here are his half-brothers, whereas in the previous verse, Benjamin Achiv is his full brother. The Hebrew doesn't differentiate, but we know the family connection. So he kisses all of his brothers, which could be the pro forma kiss on the cheek or whatever. But he does cry. So Vayinashek l'chol echav, he kisses to all his brothers. He maybe even just blows kisses. He kisses to all his brothers, Vayevk, and he wept, Alehem, on them. He wept on them. V'acharei chen, and after that, Dibru echav ito, his brothers spoke with him. So up until this point, remember, Judah was the only one who had been talking, but he's talking to all of them. And finally, they get up the courage to open their mouth and say something. What we don't get is what they said. It says, Dibru echav ito, his brothers spoke with him. But we don't know what their speaking was. We don't get the quotes of the brothers. Verse 16, V'hakol nishma beit paro lemor, ba'u achei Yosef, vayitav be'enei paro uve'enei avadav. Verse 16, V'hakol nishma, and the voice was heard. And that's all that v'hakol means. The voice was heard. We don't know what voice. The town crier, the interpreter, having been eavesdropping at the door, whatever it is. Somehow the voice goes out. The word gets out. Beit Paro, in the house of Pharaoh, gets the word. And the word is lemor, saying, here's the word that went out in the house of Pharaoh. Ba'u acheiv Yosef. The brothers of Joseph have come, or are coming. Ba'u is both the present and the past tense. So the brothers of Joseph are here. They have come. And the response to that message is, Vayitav be'enei Pharaoh, and it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. Uve'enei avadav, and in the eyes of his servants. But certainly if it's good in the eyes of Pharaoh, then the servants aren't going to say it's not good. So it was good in everybody's eyes. 17. Vayomer Paro el Yosef. And all of a sudden, Pharaoh is now speaking to Joseph. Last we saw was Joseph alone in the room with his brothers with no Egyptians at all. The word gets out that Joseph's brothers have come, and somehow Pharaoh now suddenly is speaking to Joseph. Maybe it was on the intercom. The royal pipeline. Joseph sends word, rather Pharaoh sends words, or somehow Joseph has suddenly become transported into the throne of Pharaoh. But there's no Hebrew to connect verse 16 from verse to 17. And thus, if it's not there, it means the Midrash could place it. So Pharaoh hit the buttons on the armrest of his throne and had Joseph transported into his presence.
Teleported.
Yep. Beam me up, Pharaoh. Or the intercom next to Joseph goes off and Pharaoh is saying, or Pharaoh FaceTimed him. Pharaoh was actually there in a Zoom meeting. Vayomer Paro el Yosef, this is what Pharaoh says to Joseph. Amor el achecha zot asu. Say to your brothers, Pharaoh says to Joseph, Amor el achecha, say to your brothers, asu, this do. Asu is the imperative plural. Say to your brothers, this do, zot asu. Ta'anu et be'irchem. Ta'anu et be'irchem is load up your beasts of burden. And this is all in the plural. So Pharaoh's telling Joseph to tell his brothers and give them directions. Then we get ulechu vo'u. Lechu is go, vo'u is come. And again, imperative, plural. So, and go come. Sounds better in the Hebrew. Lechu vo'u. Artsa Canaan, get going to the land of Canaan. And notice, for Pharaoh to talk about going to the land of Canaan, there's no up or down. There's no ole or yored. There's rather lechu vo'u. Head out and come back. Go back to. Come to the land of Canaan. Verse 18, Pharaoh still instructing Joseph to instruct his brothers. Ukchu et avichem ve'et batechem. So ukchu, again, imperative plural, and take et avichem, your father, and this is the your plural. So it's Pharaoh telling Joseph to tell his brothers. So not saying to Joseph, take your father, but rather Joseph, tell your brothers, take your plural father, and batechem, and all his household. Batechem, literally his house. Uvo'u elai, and come to me. Again, notice not going up or going down. That's Joseph speaking in terms of Canaan and Egypt. For Pharaoh, anybody who's coming to Egypt is coming, and anybody who's leaving Egypt is going.
How
So
come,
there's no directionality.
how come to me is Eli and not Eli? Isn't-
Pharaoh speaking sort of in that royal plural sense.
Otherwise, would it be Eli to me?
It could be Eli, but also it could be an oratory device. Uvo'u Eli, much stronger than Uvo'u Eli. You can extend the Eli
Mhm.
much more forcefully than you can extend the Eli. Come to me. Ve'etna lachem et tov eretz Mitzrayim. Ve'etna, and I will give. Etain, I will give. Etna becomes sort of formal. I will give lachem to you, plural. Again, Joseph quoting Pharaoh to his brothers. And Pharaoh is saying, I will give to you, plural, you brothers, and your father, at tuv eretz Mitzrayim. Notice it's not tov, but tuv.
Why is it tuv?
Tuv is the adverb, the goodness,
Yeah.
the goodliness. So I will give the goodly of the eret of the land of Egypt. So I will give the goodness of the land of Egypt to you, plural. V'ichlu, and you will eat. And again, this is now the imperative plural, and eat. Et chelev haaretz, you'll eat the fat of the land. Chelev is fat, but also it's cream, the stuff that rises to the top of unpasteurized milk. The best of the produce, the first cuttings of the wheat. You will eat the fat of the land. So this is a Pharaoh who really wants to give great honor to the family of Joseph, his second in command. 19. Va'ata tsuveta zot asu kachu lachem me'eretz Mitzrayim agalot letapchem ulenishechem unesatem et avichem uvatem. So va'ata tsuveta. Tsuveta is a passive form of the verb tziva, command. And you will be commanded.
Oh,
So this is the commandment that you will give to them. Zot asu, once again, this do. So now he's talking to Joseph, not telling Joseph what to tell his brothers, but rather telling Joseph what to do. Joseph will spread the word, give out the commandment. Thus, this do. Kachu lachem me'eretz Mitzrayim. Take kachu. Now we're back to the plural, zot asu. So have the commandment to your brothers that this is what they will do. Zot asu kachu lachem me'eretz Mitzrayim. This you all do. You all take to you, all, plural, from Eretz Mitzrayim, from the land of Egypt, agalot, wagons, minivans, letapchem, for your babes, ulenishechem, and for your women.
oh. wait.
So wagons, the men, you can walk. The babies, the little ones, and the women. Satem et avichem, and the satem is to bear, to carry, to schlep.
Mm.
So carry your father, you plural, uvatem, and come. So all of this in the imperative. 20. Ve'en chem al tahos, al tachos al klechem ki tuv kol eretz Mitzrayim lachem hu. So ve'en chem, your eyes. Ayin is eye. Ein chem, your eyes, your plural eye. Al tachos. So don't worry, don't fret. So don't let your eyes fret or worry. Al kalechem, on your pottery, your possessions, your various kinds of utensils. Don't worry about the movers, the packers. Don't worry, just make sure you take everything you own. Just take all your stuff. Don't worry about it. Ki tuv kol eretz Mitzrayim lachem hu, for all the goodness of the land, or the goodness of all the land of Egypt, lachem hu, for you, it. So don't worry, I'm giving you an American Express black card. all your shopping at the Macy's of Goshen.
Rabbi Sam, why is it who, like, Eretz is feminine, so why are they referring to it as in the masculine?
It's the
form?
tuv of the land.
Well,
The
the good,
goodness.
Goodness. Oh,
Here's the negative. Don't worry, or your eyes.
Al, the very beginning, al. Do
So-
not. Al tachos is do not tachos. Al is the don't.
And what is tacos?
Tachos is fret, worry, trouble yourself with. Don't let your eye be bothered. About your utensils. Kituv kol eretz Mitzrayim lachem. To you, it is. Verse 21, Vaya asuchen b'nei Yisrael, vayiten lahem Yosef agalot al pi Pharaoh, vayiten lahem seda laderech. And again, ladarech, because we come to the end of the phrase. So vaya asuchen, and so they did thus. The they is b'nei Yisrael, the sons of Israel. Vayiten lahem, and then now we're back to Joseph. Vayiten lahem, and he gave to them, that is Yosef, Joseph gave to them, agalot, wagons, minivans, trucks, transport vehicles. Al pi Pharaoh, on the mouth of Pharaoh, literally. So according to Pharaoh, he did all that Pharaoh had told him. Vayiten lahem, and he gave to them also, which was not part of Pharaoh's commands, but Joseph just did it on his own apparently. Seda ladarach, provisions for the road. So, he packed a lunch for them. And if he was anything like my family and my wife's family, they had finished it all before they even got out of the driveway.
Mm,
But theoretically,
right.
they have coolers filled with all the stuff, or dried meats, or whatever you need that won't spoil on the journey back up to Canaan. So the story continues. Next week, we'll find out if they ever get home. So this is what you'll be looking at next week. For next week. And we're now on XVII. And it's going to be now all that they do, and it will end with Vayomer Yisrael, and Israel, Jacob says, which means they got home. So how did they get home? This is the reading for next week. L'chulam natan la'ish chalifot smalot ulevinyamin natan shalosh me'ot kesef v'chamesh chalifot smalot. So they each got one, and Benjamin's going to get 300. Ula aviv shalach kazot asara chamorim nosim mituv mitzrayim be'eser atonot nosot bar v'lechem umazon la'aviv ladarech. Verse 24. Vaishalach et echav, vayelechu vayomer alehem al tirgazu badarech. 25. Vaya'alu mimitzrayim, vayavo'u eretz Canaan el Yaakov avichem. You're going to notice that we're going back and forth between Yaakov and Yisrael, which leads to plenty of commentary, both in the traditional and in the modern construction of what was part of the original story, what was done by the editor redactor, what is going on with this Yaakov and Yisrael, especially since when Yaakov's name got changed to Yisrael, we're told in one of the stories, and never again will you be called Yaakov, except for when we do. So just keep going back and forth between Yaakov and Yisrael. 6. Vayagidu lo lemor od Yosef chai. V'chi hu Moshel, and notice the one dot in Moshel covers both functions of the O and the Shin. V'chol eretz Mitzrayim, vayafag libo ki lo he'emin lahem. 27. Vayadabru elav et kol divrei Yosef, asher diber alehem, vayar et ha'agalot asher shalach Yosef, laset oto, vatchi ruach Yaakov avihem. Vayomer Yisrael, Rav od Yosef beni chai, elcha ve'erena anu beterem amut. So I'm going to get there before I die. Later, we're going to get a wonderful little conversation between Yaakov, Yisrael, and Pharaoh. But we have to get there first.
Do you say